Alita Battle Angel is clearly a visual spectacle, but does it have the plot to match?
Alita Battle Angel is directed by Robert Rodriguez. This is a passion project that started over 20 years ago with James Cameron. He adapted a screenplay based on the manga.
Right.
He kind of just gave up on it because he took over Avatar, his Avatar project. And of course, there's like 3 more Avatar films coming. So he was just like, here, Robert Rodriguez, why don't you go ahead and direct Alita? The film stars Rosa Salazar in the title role. It also stars Christoph Waltz, Jennifer Connelly, and Mahershala Ali. Alita is the story of a female humanoid who is revived after a catastrophic event known as the Fall. The story focuses on her revival, her journey of self-discovery as she tries to remember who she was in the past and who she is meant to become. There is a lot to love in this movie, including a wonderful exposition.
Yeah, the exposition does a really good job of humanizing this girl. I mean, in fact, there's a human thread weaved all through this story, such as like a father's loss, a love story, and like you said, a girl's coming of age journey.
Yeah, it does a great job, similarly to Avatar, by the way, which this movie reminded me a lot of, of kind of making the viewer feel welcomed and invited into this quirky new world and there's a lot to take in. And I like the fact that the movie takes its time with this exposition to make you feel welcome.
I really enjoyed how we got to discover the world alongside her, and I thought the opening sequences did a fantastic job of breathing life into her.
It's so important, I think, in an action movie especially, for you to care about these characters, and that's what they did well at the beginning of this movie. They showed you the vulnerable side to her, and they showed you her tough, heroic side.
But I kind of feel like after the exposition that they just kind of sprinkled her humanizing just, here and there.
Here and there throughout.
But you know what? I wanted something more sustained, more developed, more human moments that they took their time with. But I mean, really, this is a Robert Rodriguez movie, right? So I guess what can I expect?
So, and that's exactly what you get. You get a highly stylized, action-packed movie, but I have to say that it's done really well.
Well, I mean, I kind of felt like, okay, we were thrust into the action after that exposition, and it really felt like a graphic novel after that, with a lot of the exposition kind of explained and more telling instead of showing.
And I had some issues with the pacing. I never felt bored watching the movie, but I certainly felt like some scenes tended to like drag a little bit more than they should have, perhaps.
Okay.
I really loved the noir influences in this movie. Sure, there's some callbacks to manga and anime. When it comes to noir influences, this is awesome. I mean, we're talking about dark alleyways and seedy bars and these themes of betrayal and, hidden identities, and I really enjoyed that.
Hidden agendas. Yeah, I mean, it really felt like that. It had like a little detective story feel to it at times.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was engaging. But to me, the most engaging part was the action and the visuals.
Yeah, some of the best I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
forget Aquaman, forget DC, forget Marvel. Like, seriously, man, like, it really felt authentic and real. I mean, the humanoids themselves looked very real.
Yeah, I thought that really, like you said, some of the best special effects I've ever seen. I mean, let's start with the motion capture, right? Some of the best I've seen since Andy Serkis. It's like close to that level as far as the motion capture acting. And plus, the attention to detail in the CGI was astonishing.
Yeah, and then combined with some, some well-crafted slow motion and bullet time sequences,
Yeah,
really nice.
I loved the fighting scenes, so well choreographed and true to manga style animation. So as you would expect, the mind-blowing visuals and Alita's character really anchor this movie. I mean, she was instantly endearing with her innocence and curiosity.
Yeah, I agree. Rosa Salazar, is so charming, so charismatic and likable, and I think that that's very important in anchoring or, developing this character. So I'm glad that they chose her for the role. And speaking of acting, everything. Man, Mahershala Ali, there's not a single bad performance from that guy, man.
Yeah.
He is so good in everything and definitely captivating in this role. And I'm so glad that they casted him in that role, because some of these actors have to say these corny one-liners, man. This cheesy formulaic dialogue. You know, that's one of the film's weaknesses, I think.
Right.
So it helps that they have good actors, you know?
It really does, because I thought they all did a solid job with what they were given with this script, like you said, with some bad writing.
Christoph Waltz did well. Jennifer Connelly did well.
So let's go back to Alita. I honestly saw her as, I'm sorry, for lack of a better word, she was a badass, kind of bordering on OP, but wow, was she so entertaining to watch.
She's what Scarlett Johansson wished she could have been in Ghost in the Shell. Really, truly. I mean, she really does an excellent job in this movie.
And I like their approach to this, because you really see a role reversal as far as gender roles, and I thought that was super refreshing, and it was really neat to see, you know, her being the savior and there actually being a male that was the damsel, so to speak, in distress.
In distress, absolutely.
Yeah. And you know, one thing I was disappointed about was that I felt like they didn't delve enough into her background. They kind of put little drops in there, but I wanted more of that. And
there's like a few flashbacks, but they're so quick, you know.
And then this whole cataclysmic battle hundreds of years ago called the Fall. Like,
we never truly learn.
And some things are confusing because they don't really flesh that out. The last thing I want to point out that kind of let me down as far as like the relationships and the characters was that there is this romance going on, and I didn't have a problem with it at first, but you know, after a while it became obvious that this was just kind of a plot device.
I think that was just to kind of humanize Alita's character, you know, because you see her sometimes and it's like, is she a human? Is she a robot? You know, but I think that's what they were trying to do.
This movie is clearly setting up for sequels, and you guys likely won't get the payoff that you guys want. It didn't feel like a self-contained movie, but rather like an episode 1 of a TV series. The pacing issues for me were more about the movie just kind of meandering and the scenes really not doing much to move along the main plot. But that said, guys, the visuals and Alita's character were enough to outweigh the flaws in this movie, so I'll be buying it on Blu-ray. I just thought it was overall entertaining and enjoyable.
Well, you know what, man? I'm gonna be buying it in 4K.
Okay, 4K.
4K.
All right, well, I don't have 4K TVs.
Forget Blu-ray. I don't either, but I'm going to buy one.
Well, I'm going to see it in virtual reality. I'm going to jack in there like Ready Player One.
Well, I agree with most of the things that you said. I actually liked the meandering, you know. I wasn't really bothered by it.
Okay.
And even though the dialogue was weak, I enjoyed the complexities of some of the characters, and I really enjoyed this idea of, again, hidden identities, and you're not sure of, you know, who everybody is, who to trust. I am going to give this movie 4 out of 5 reels. I really enjoyed it. Again, some pacing issues, but overall, I love this movie and I will definitely purchase it. And this is a must-see in the theater.
And a must-see is my real rating, which I forgot to give.
You forgot to say your real rating, so go ahead.
Yeah, my real rating is 4 reels. I kind of felt like we would be spot on with that, and I knew it. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's our real take on Alita, guys. Let us know in the comments, as always, below. Hey, did you like this movie? Did you feel it was worth the 20-year wait?
And thank you to the Alamo Drafthouse for providing great films, great food, great service. And also look us up on Instagram at real.screeners and Facebook Real Screeners.
And if you guys like our reviews, hit that subscribe button and bell button to get notifications and more real takes on movies.
Alita, Battle Angel.
So what did you think, Lenny? Just in case you're too far away to hear me.
Fudge. Alita, Battle...
Hold on, I was making a face. Sorry. Okay.
Alita is the story of a female humanoid who was revived 300 years after a catastrophic event known as the Fall. It explores her journey of discovering who she is. They love Alita. It's a lot of and look us up on social media at Real Screeners on Facebook and Real.Screeners on Instagram.
I was trying not to laugh. And if you guys like our reviews, hit that subscribe button and bell button notification.